Okay, jumping in. John, you've got this weird background on where you're flickering like a special effect. So I can see something. Is it New York City or something? And then you're
No,
gone.
that's the Brandenburg Gate and the
Oh,
Berlin
okay.
Wall. Well, the
I've
Berlin
been
Wall.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And,
Um,
sorry about that. The
no, you're
tech
good. I'm
glitched up this computer.
just teasing. I'm glad to see you on video though. You figured that one out. Okay, so today I want to talk about some stuff relating to open houses. Um, I've seen a lot of opportunities popping up for open houses, which is something that we have not seen in a long time, right? Not to say open houses have not been allowed for a while, but you know, I'm seeing on the coach, not on the coaching, on the Facebook group, hey, you know, is anyone open to hosting this open house, right? And I think I'm for the first time in a long time in my little area that I know well, I'm seeing some price reductions, and I don't think the market is headed for a correction, but I do think that houses are going to start sticking on the house around a little bit longer. And I think some sellers have gotten a little bit, and agents have gotten a little bit greedy in terms of list price. Rather than letting the market dictate it, they price it a little bit high out of the gate, which is fine. Honestly, it leaves houses on the market a little bit longer. And when houses are on the market for a little bit longer, what do they give us the opportunity to do? Generate leads around them. Generate leads around them. Yes, negotiate, but generate leads around them. Because listen, when a house goes on the market on Thursday, has multiple offers by Saturday, you know, it's hard for anyone, you know, even the listing agent, to lead generate around that, other than the, hey, we just sold this house for 50 grand above ask, right? It's the houses that are desirable, right? They're in a great area. They're in what people are looking for, but it's, hey, it's going on the market on Thursday, showing start Saturday, open house on Saturday afternoon, right? May or may not have multiple offers, but or it's on the market for a week, right? Which isn't crazy. You know, we joked about this last week that, Sharon, I think, had a listing where there were 7 showings on it or something like that, which was still great, right? But we've been in this jaded sense of weirdness, right? Where the reality is that not too long ago, the average days on market was like 32. So it's going to return to that. It's probably going to take a while, but my point is, with houses being on the market a little bit longer and with things feeling relaxed, right? More open, less masks, all these things, weather being great, open houses are a huge opportunity for lead gen, okay? Hosting them, but more importantly, doing what, guys? I said this a few weeks ago. It's not about the actual house that you're hosting open sitting in it. It's about the what?
Advertising.
Tell me more about that, Kai.
Like setting leading up to the open house.
Yep, exactly. Your lead generating activities around that open house, right? The circle prospecting, the door knocking, the calling your database, the all of those things are the activities around the open house, not just hosting it open. However, hosting it right now is great because I think people are coming, people are looking, right? And it's a huge opportunity to meet people. Let me tell you a little story. I had a listing in South Lyon. This was a few years ago, 2 years ago. I had an open house. I had next to nobody come through. Then I had a young family come through, and they had their 2 kids, and they talking with them, they knew an area that they wanted to be in. They had already targeted. They had not chosen to work with a real estate agent, and in fact, they told me, they said, Matt, we don't really want to commit to an agent. I said, well, completely understandable. I said, would you be opposed to me sending you listings that I know you might be interested in? They said, of course. Okay, great. They said, one thing though, is that there's like, we see everything that comes on the market. So I just don't want you just to set some sort of email that just comes to us. I said, no problem. I understand. So what I did is I set up an auto search, but I didn't have it sent to them. I had it sent to me, and I would look at it. Right. And I would, and when a house came by that I knew, because I asked them questions about what they were looking for, when a house would pop up, I would say, hey, have you seen that? Send them a link, email or text them a link. Hey, have you seen this house? Yeah, we've already seen this house, right? That happened probably 3 or 4 times over a year, right? 3 or 4 properties popped up and they said, yeah, we've looked at it. And then finally I send them a text message. Hey, this house popped up. I said, yeah, we just saw it. Are you available to show it? Yes. Let me set it up. I set up the showing. We went and looked at it. We wrote an offer. Not only did I get that, but I got the listing on their previous house just by keeping in touch with them over that period of a year, right? From meeting at that open house. And that's just one story, right? And I know that there's lots of other ones out there. But it's important. If I wouldn't have asked questions, if I wouldn't have developed rapport, I wouldn't have earned the right to be able to keep in contact with them for a long period of time, right? It's great when someone walks in the open house and buys that house. That's phenomenal, right? Especially if it's your listing, but that's not necessarily the purpose or the lead, the focus that I want to kind of talk about, some scripts and stuff like that. Okay. Number one, before we go into some scripts and some dialogue, right? We're not going to talk about setting signs out and this and that. We're just going to get some nitty gritty with some scripts. But what I want to talk about beforehand is the etiquette, the agent etiquette for open houses. Okay. What I mean, what do you think I mean by agent etiquette? Talking specifically about an open house that's another agent's, right? Can anybody think of what I might be talking about in terms of when you're hosting another agent's open house or listing as an open house? Is it too open-ended of a question?
You think like keep it professional and as if it was your own?
Absolutely, Emily. Yes. I think it starts with the having a conversation with that listing agent to understand that, to treat it one as if you're very appreciative of the opportunity, right? Because you should be. Quite honestly, if an agent trusts you to host an open house for them, they're putting an immense amount of trust in you because you are representing them. You may meet the seller. You are a reflection of them and our company. So I would hate to hear that anybody that was in coaching would be hosting an open house and would not be professional, would not be on time, or worst case would be a no-show or something like that. So if you commit to an open house or you're searching for an open house and you're having conversations with agents, whether they're agents in our office or other agents, remember to be professional and courteous. And again, to be grateful. I always make it sure that I'm going to get the lowdown on that listing to the best of my ability from the listing agent. So I understand you're never going to know every question or every answer to every question, right? But I'm going to look at the MLS. I'm going to pull the seller's disclosure. I'm going to review that, make sure that I understand going into it. I'm going to do the comps. I'm going to look at what else is on the market. I'm going to drive the neighborhood to see if there's any FSBOs. I'm going to do all of that. But in terms of the listing agent, I'm going to ask him a question like, is it occupied? Therefore, I think it's important to note because some sellers, depending on the listing agent, some sellers, if the open house starts at 10, they're rushing out the door at 9:55, right? That's just, sometimes that happens. So I'm going to say, does the listing agent, I'm going to say, do the sellers know? Have you told them that I'm going to be hosting the open house? Great. If it's occupied, I'm going to be respectful, be on time. Or you might ask, are they going to be out early or should I expect them when I arrive? Right? You're just having a dialogue, right? Because you shouldn't show up there and be like, who are you? You know what I mean? Or be surprised if they're there. Now, if they're not going to be there, oh yeah, they're gone for the weekend. Okay, wonderful. Then I can arrive a little early, get the lay of the land a little bit. Nothing irks me more when I have another agent host an open house than me having to chase down that agent to ask them how it went. Okay. And some people might be surprised when I say that, but the reason why I'm typically very anxious to know how it went is because why? The seller wants to know how it went, right? So if I'm not the one hosting the open house, I'm really going to be anxious. Now there's some agents that I've has hosted open houses for me and for others that have been phenomenal, right? Now, again, the leads that you generate, the people that you talk to, I don't need a list of those people. Those are your people. Those are the leads you generated, the people that walked in the door, right? I don't need you to send me the names and the numbers of the people. What I do like and appreciate is this was the amount of traffic that we had through the door, X amount of families, right? This is a general overview of how they found out about the open house. This is the feedback that I got, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. Obviously keep it professional, but that's going to be what I'm looking for in terms of feedback from an agent. Does that make sense? Sharon, do you have anything to add to that one?
Muted. No, I mean, it's just, as a listing agent, you want to know that it was well taken care of and that you are receiving professionally formatted, complete information so that you can go to your seller and say, bam, look at how well we took care of everything.
Yeah.
Right? Your job is to make the listing agent shine to the sellers. Because your benefit, as you know, as we all know, we've talked about, isn't getting the leads. The listing agent's benefit in your work is to shine for their clients. That's my feedback.
No, it's great.
Do you have a
And-
suggestion on, I always try to update the person that I'm doing the thing for right away. And if anything comes up throughout the day, like if someone's super interested, I might pop them a text or whatever. But I had one recently where I had very specific questions about the house. It was not something that was available on the seller's disclosure, and the agent never got back to me. So then I look like a fool because I told these people, hey, I'm going to follow up with you. I'll send you an email with that answer, da, da, da. I never could get the answer. And I asked more than one time. And then, so what do you suggest in those cases? One, I'm not going to do an open house for him anymore, but it was very frustrating because that makes me look unprofessional in the eyes of the leads that I got. So they were like, now, you know, would I go with me if I was that person? No, because I never got followed up and got their answer for them.
Yeah. I'm sorry that happened, Tammy. That's the flip side of exactly what we were talking about. If you don't do a great job, you know, you're the listing agent might never use you. You know, it's okay for you to never want to host an open house for someone else either. I mean, that's completely okay, especially if they're going to not be responsive like that. I always am a big fan of real honesty, which is, hey, Mr. Buyer, full disclosure, as I mentioned earlier, this wasn't my listing, right? It was an agent in my office, and I've reached out to them multiple times, and I don't know if it's because they've accepted another offer or what it is, but I haven't gotten a response. But I do know that those questions were important to you, and you know, if you like, would you like me to show you other houses? You know, like I'm going to try to pivot it to the best of my ability, but I'm just going to be honest. But yeah, if you've experienced that, I mean, it is frustrating, and there's nothing wrong with not wanting to host an open house for an agent like that to be in the future. And please share that with me. I want to know that kind of stuff. You're not tattletelling. You're not gossiping. I think, you know, anytime you guys have an opportunity to share experience with me, my goal is just to make it better. So please do so.
Can I add something?
Yeah, Emily, can you mute yourself, please? That'd be great.
All right.
No problem. Kai, what's up?
Hey, I just wanted to add, when we see those posts on Facebook and they say call. Don't expect them to call you. Just reach out to them.
Well, that's a great point, Kai. When someone posts something on there, they might specifically say, who's interested, ? Or DM me or call me. Whatever they're asking, do that, right? I've seen some, it's like, hey, please reach out to me in their phone number. But then people are like, I'm interested, sent you a message. Like, no, call them. If they put a number on there, call them, right? Or comment and say, hey, I don't have your voice. Usually agents treat those as first in, first out, like the first one to respond. So if you're interested, even if you try to call them, but you don't put a comment on there, hey, just try to call you, or hey, would love to call you, don't have your phone number, write something on there. Does that make sense? So great point, Kai. Right. But needless to say, these opportunities are out there, and you should take advantage of them. I'm not going to go into the circle prospecting around, that kind of thing. I'm going to jump into the actual open house itself and people walking in the door. But we know that the open house itself is an opportunity to circle prospect both on the phone, both on the phone as well as door knocking. Right, there's different scripts for those conversations to have. But actually having the open house itself and having people walk in the door is what I wanted to focus on a little bit. And if we were all here, I would actually role play knocking on the front door of our office and coming in, but we can do a similar thing here. So that's what we're going to do. We did it a long time ago. Phil, you remember that? we're going to do the same thing here. So one thing that I do want to point out, which is something that I heard recently, is don't judge a book by its cover. And what I mean by that is, for those of you guys who don't know, I sold new construction for a long time. And when I sat in a model home, I would have full view, right? My office was like in the converted garage, and I had full view of everyone that was coming up. And I could not help myself when I began to have to make generalizations or to make conclusions about people's appearance or their vehicle's appearance before I had the opportunity to talk with them. And that's something that I learned as I matured and grew older, but it's something that I want you to remind you guys of. And what I mean by that is, if someone looks a certain way or is driving a vehicle that's brand new, flashy, right, and is dressed impeccable, it doesn't mean that they have the ability to buy the house or any house, right? Conversely, there's plenty of people that drive used cars that couldn't care less if it's been washed in a month, but have stacks of cash in the bank, right? So never judge a book by its cover. Never make assumptions based on someone's appearance or what they look like or what their vehicle looks like on their ability to be a client or not. You know how I judge their ability to buy or not? Based on what the lender says after they've sent them to get a pre-approval, or they've sent me verification of proof of funds, right? So treat everyone and ask the same questions to everyone. Again, there's plenty of people that have fooled me that look like they had money but didn't. So when someone pulls up to an open house, it's always the first person, right, that gives me the butterflies, because you're in there. It's, you've put out your flyers, you've turned on all the lights, you're waiting, and then all of a sudden you see a car pull up, right? And this is where I think there's opportunity, because people say, what do? I don't know how to do it, right? Or it's awkward, or whatever the case may be. But when someone walks to the door, typically I'm not there, even though I might see them. I don't sit there and open the door for them. Maybe I do, but it depends on the layout of the property, especially if it's condo or a house. But I typically have the wait until they open the door, and then I start my dialogue. What is everyone's favorite first line? Or if you don't have one, what would you say first? What do you do to say to break the ice?
I always ask them, is this the first open house you've been to today, or have you been to a lot?
Okay. So what are you going to determine based on the response to that question?
So it tells me how serious they're looking. It gives me a little idea of what area they're looking into. If they say, well, I've been to a couple others, I say, oh, were they close by? And sometimes they'll say, oh yeah, they were, the one down the street. Or maybe they'll say, oh, they were, across town, and, they drove kind of far. And then I'll follow up and ask them, well, how'd you hear about this one? What got you interested? But the reason I ask that question is it's a really good icebreaker, and it's very low pressure, because a lot of people, when they walk into open houses, like the first thing they're, the things that they're kind of ready to say is like that sort of, no, I'm just looking sort of line. Like, no, I've already got an agent. No, I don't want to sign in. I don't want a bunch of emails. They're ready to say all that. But when you say something that has nothing to do with that, it opens them up to conversation. And then you can, sort of ease into the questions of, so are you working
Carson,
with anyone right now?
Wait, just a second. Hold up. Instead of us talking, why don't we just role play? So Carson, I just showed up. I opened the front door to your open house. You're the agent. Let's role play.
All right. Hey, how you doing? Is this the first open house you've been to, or have you been to a few already?
No, just this one.
Okay, just this one. Fantastic. So how'd you hear about our open house?
I saw it online.
Okay, saw it online. Understood. Have been looking in the area for a while?
Not really.
Okay, not really. Oh, by the way, I didn't get your name when you came in. I'm Carson, by the way.
Matt.
Oh, nice to meet you, Matt. All right, well, I'll be down here, but if you'd like to take a look around, or you'd like a tour, let me know, and we can talk a little more about what kinds of things you like about the home.
Okay.
All right.
Phil's laughing because I can. He's heard that personality before. It's hard for me to get outside of my normal self, but that's how a lot of people are, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
right? They're very closed
Yeah.
off, pretty much. And naturally, for many people, when someone does that, it's the natural tendency is to say, okay, well, let me know if you have any questions. You know, you're just not getting anything out of them, and you just let them be, and then it's right. So let's switch roles a little bit. Karsten, why don't you play that same kind of client, okay?
All right.
And you're gonna
Sounds
walk
good.
in
All
the
right.
door.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm walking in.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful day out, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. You guys just out for the day running errands, or did you search out this open house?
Well, it was close by, so we stopped in.
Oh, you live in the area.
Close, yeah.
Okay, great. How did you hear about this open house then? Did you see it online or did you see the signs?
We saw it online.
You saw it online. Awesome. How long have you been looking for a house?
We're not really looking seriously right now. Just whatever pops up.
Got it. Do you own a house right now or do you rent?
We own.
You own a house. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you lived it? How long have you owned it?
About 6 years now.
Oh, great. 6 years. Right. Who all lives in the house? Just you and your family that you brought today?
Yeah, just me and my husband.
Oh, awesome. Wonderful. So if you were to move, would you be looking for a house that's larger or smaller?
Probably bigger.
Bigger. Okay. Well, great.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably saw some of the features about this house online, which led you to come see it in person, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Was there anything specific that you saw online that made you want to come out to see it in person?
Yeah, it had the a nice layout for the bedrooms. The first floor master was really nice.
Is the first floor? Does your current house have a first floor master?
Yeah, our current home's a ranch.
Oh, it's a ranch. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you like the idea of a bedroom on the main level?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Anything else that you saw online that you were excited to see in person?
That was really it.
Cool. Awesome. Well, let me tell you a little bit about this house. This is a 2,600 square foot, 4-bedroom Cape Cod. As you said, it has the master on the first level. It's got a wonderful finished basement. They really did a lot of work to it. I'm excited for you to see it. What I would like to do is if you want to get started, you can take a tour around the main floor. I'm going to catch up with you in a few minutes, probably ask you a few questions about what you've seen so far. And then I'll show you the upstairs and then we can finish off by taking a look at the basement. How's that sound, Karsten?
Sounds good.
Okay, awesome. Do you have any other questions for me at this time?
No.
Okay. You promise to ask if you do?
Of course.
All right. Well, take your time and I'll meet up with you in a few moments.
All right. Sounds good.
Cool. So in that regard, what did I do?
You interviewed.
I asked some questions without seeming like I was peppering him, I hope. I mixed it up with some alternative choice questions as well as some open-ended ones. Because the open-ended ones, he was giving me nothing, right? But the alternate choice ones, he has to answer one of them, right? He can't say none, right? So you have to read it a little bit. In a real case scenario, I probably would have asked more, been a little bit different, a conversational. Of course, we're doing this over Zoom, but I recognize the fact that he wasn't real serious in terms, at least at that point. He could be very serious, right? Like I didn't jump in and say, "Hey, jury, to get a pre-approval. Did you do this? Did you do that?" I would though, moments later after we've broken the ice. And I never say, "Hey, feel free to take a look." I always say, "Why don't you start?" Right? I'm going to guide them, right? And then I'm going to set the expectation that I'm going to be meeting up with them in a few, right? So depending on the size of the home, I always send them on their way a little bit or start, "Hey, let me start by showing you the living room and then I'll let you go tour the rest of the home." Or let me start by showing you the kitchen and then I'll go, allow you to go start, or whatever the case may be that I think is an important thing. Hopefully based on maybe what he told me. "Hey, since you said the first floor master is the most important to you, let's start there. It's right here on this level and it's got amazing master bathroom," right? And then, once you show that, you start asking questions while you're showing it, right? And this is where touring actually is a skill, right? Where you're not just feature dumping, but you're actually, how does this compare? Is this how I'm curious, because everyone says the photos sometimes, look nicer online than the house does in person. Does this disappoint you, or is it actually as good or better than what you saw online, right? So you're asking questions. Make sense, guys?
Mhm. Yeah.
All right, let's flip a little bit. I must run with these scripts and role playing. Who wants to be the agent? I'm gonna pick someone if you don't. Doug's the agent. Let me role play one more. I'll be the buyer. So I'm gonna walk in the door. I'm gonna knock on the door. Sometimes people don't realize they can just open the door. They're gonna knock. I'm gonna knock on the door. Doug, this is an open house. It's any house. It doesn't matter. But I knock on the door and you're there hosting it. So let me in.
Hello, how you guys doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. What brings you in today?
Well, we were just out. We had soccer this morning. My little guy here, he just had soccer practice, and we went and got some breakfast, and we saw the signs, and we wanted to stop by. We really love this neighborhood, and we wanted to come and take a look at this open house. What's the asking price on this house?
The asking price for this one is $239.
Awesome. How big is it?
It's 2,000 square foot, just under 2,000, 1980.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Can we take a look?
Absolutely, you can take a look. Can I ask you a couple questions first?
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Yeah, so I was just trying to see, are you living in this area? You guys just driving? I know you said you're just driving around after soccer practice, but
Yeah, we
this
live in the
area,
neighborhood. Yeah, we live in the neighborhood right over there. We've been there for about 10 years. It's a great house. We raised our kids in it. It's 3 bedrooms. We'd like a little bit more space maybe, but that's why we kind of want to come check this out, because we like this neighborhood.
okay. What size is your current house?
It's about 1,600 square foot. It's a ranch. Like I said, it's 3 bedrooms. We finished the basement a couple years ago. It's a nice house, but we're kind of starting to outgrow it. I really would like a colonial, maybe with a little bit larger backyard.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I think this is going to meet your needs. If you want to go ahead and get started, you can take a look over here at the on the main floor.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We can just
But
take a
before I
look here.
do that, sorry. Before I do that, can I get you to sign in?
Yeah. What do you mean sign in?
We're signing in. We're just keeping track of the people that are coming through, and then that way I can kind of touch base with you and see your thoughts afterwards.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't like to. I like you to sit on after you take a look at the house. I want to get your thoughts afterwards after it sinks in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'll sign in, then I can take a look.
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, that's a completely different client. This talker, right? They just give you everything. What did that role, what did that give you guys? It should give you a whole bunch of stuff as an agent, right? Because in your mind, you're filing away things to be able to close them later or go in for the kill. I know it's a little bit abrasive terms. What did I tell you? What did I go? And what maybe did you hear Doug do or say that you would have done differently? Good job, Doug.
Well, I would have already done something differently. But
What would you have done differently?
I probably would have focused on their child's soccer and kind of build a relationship a little bit more. Get
Yeah.
conversation going. I'm more of a talker, so I like to get involved and make them feel more comfortable before I throw the sales tactic on them.
Yeah. You guys know match and mirror, right? People, the way that they're communicating to you, you want to come to their level. If this person's upbeat, talking about stuff, you match them, you're right. Even if it's outside of your comfort zone, it's our job to raise to the level of the client. If they're melodramatic and calm and cool, you be calm and cool, right? No one who's got that type of mentality or that type of attitude wants a, hey, how's it going, salesperson, right? And if someone's upbeat, right, and they're telling you all about their day, you want to be excited. You want to get on that level. Hey, buddy, did you score a goal, right? And this is real. You will see people come in. They got this soccer outfit. We're returning slowly to normal. People are working out. Some people, there's a husband and wife, and he's got the Lululemon on. He's got a coffee in his hand. Hey, did you guys go for a run this morning? Maybe he doesn't run, but you're complimenting him and you're trying to build some rapport and talk about some things, right? So absolutely, Doug, you see the kid, or he just told you they came from soccer. You're getting on his level. And you're having a conversation with that kid, right? Because the people are going to remember that. It's not about the house yet. It's about the rapport. You're trying to build a relationship in a very short period of time where they remember you and they would maybe want to work with you, right? So absolutely. What else?
I noticed how even though Matt was excited, Doug was really good at making sure he was able to get his information so he could follow back later. And he was really making sure that because he was so excited, he wanted to make sure that Matt, knew that he wanted to catch up with you later so that you could possibly do business together. And I think him putting that seed in your mind will kind of like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. I can circle back to him if I really do want to do something. So I think that was good.
Sure. Absolutely. What else?
I take criticism very well. Go ahead, rip on me.
Doug, I would, you did a great job of asking questions, right? However, my critique would be that when I was really excited and let's go, I would have been like, if I was you as the agent, assuming there was no other people there, I'd be like, yes, let's go. I'm going to ask you questions as we go along. Sound good? Great. Let's go. Right? Where you're not stopping it, you're just rolling into it and you're asking the questions as you go. And don't be in the thought that you have to get someone to sign as soon as they walk in the door, right? I know what you meant by getting someone to sign in. Don't, especially like that guy, that role I played, that guy would have no problem signing in. But it's almost like you're pumping the brakes on his excitement and the house's excitement by getting them to sign this thing. Get it signed before they walk out the door. But it's much easier after you've built up some rapport. Say, hey, you know what, Bob, before you go, can you make sure you fill this out? I want to make sure I have your information to follow up with you about that, blah, 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 to find out what elementary school it is or whatever that reason why. Even if I know everything about the house, I'm still going to probably have some sort of question that's outstanding. And I like doing that. Even if I know the answer to it, I like withholding that because why? It gives me a reason to follow up and it gives them a reason to put the real information so they don't ghost me because I have to follow up with them on a question that they wanted the answer to. Does that make sense? Right? So I'll be like, yeah, let's roll. Let's get started. And that person, I'm not going to say, go ahead and take a look around. I'm going to start leading. I'm going to go with it, right? There's nothing that says you can't be a tour guide for someone who's like just totally into it because that's just more opportunity to build rapport, ask questions. How's this compare to yours, right? One thing that no one said is that like I gave you the lowdown of why I was looking to move, whether you realized it or not. Why? Can anyone remember what I said?
You wanted colonial.
And you wanted,
I wanted a colonial, or I wanted a larger house, right? I was in 1,600 square foot. I lived in the area. Great. So I would have asked, great. Do you have kids that have to stay in this school district? Okay. So this is a perfect house for you, right? You've been looking at this neighborhood for a while. Great. Have you put any offers on any houses? No. We're not at that point yet. Okay, great. So safe to say you've not talked to a mortgage lender yet. No. Okay, great. I can help you with that. No problem. I'm just trying to see where you're at, right? You're asking questions because you're taking what they're giving you and going down that path, right? Make sense? Anybody else have anything? And I'm filing all that stuff away, guys. And guess what I'm also doing? I'm going right back. If I have a break, I'm writing it down. Not on my sign-in sheet, but in my little journal that I'm going to keep. Because all this stuff, especially if you have 5 groups of people that come through, you're going to forget it all. So you're going to write it down. Bob and Sue, blue car, soccer, colonial, 1,600 square foot ranch now, same school. Whatever notes are going to help you remember, right? You need to write those down because you will forget. And then you'll be reporting and be like, I have 5 groups. So first, I don't remember. And then, or if that conversation was going great and that client, that Matt buyer and his wife scooted out the door and you didn't realize it because you were talking to someone else, right? You want to make sure that you can follow back up with them and say, you know what, Matt, I'm so sorry. I didn't get the opportunity to say goodbye. But I'm so glad you filled in your contact information so I could touch base. Tell me, what were your thoughts on the house, right? And you're continuing that conversation, right? If you have one person come through and you get to meet them, greet them, talk with them, and then send them off, that's easy. How am I getting an echo in here? But if you have multiple people coming through, it's going to be a challenge to make sure that you follow up with them for whatever, way that they wanted to do. Because remember, it's not about the house. It's about building that relationship and taking advantage of that small portion of time to be that someone saying, yeah, I'd like to work with this guy or this person, this woman, this whoever. Make sense?
Hey, Matt.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's an appropriate time to follow up? Because I did one over this past weekend, and it didn't dawn on me that it was a holiday weekend.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I had like six couples come through. Well, probably 5, because the one couple brought her parents. So,
Yeah.
4 out of the 5 are working with an agent. One couple was not.
Mhm.
So, with it being like the holiday, like, what's an appropriate time to follow up with them?
Yeah. Does anybody have thoughts on that? First
I
of
would
all,
follow up.
go ahead, Anya.
I would have followed up like the day after the holiday, just like that in the morning, to stay top of mind. Because folks don't want to be bothered when they're with their family. So I get not following up on the holiday, but I would have followed up like that Tuesday morning call.
Yeah. We're going to do another role play in a second with the agent that says they
I
I
think it would depend on the excitement. If they were like, oh my God, I love this house. I need a house like this. We are so looking for a house. We have to be out. I would have just followed up with them almost immediately. Even after that day, after we got home, and just been like, hey, it was really nice meeting you guys. I got home and I looked at some houses that were similar. Let me know. Because if they don't have an agent and they need it, I would have done it fast. If they were like, oh, we just saw the sign and we're just, finding something to do this afternoon, then I probably would have waited until after the holiday and been like, hey, nice meeting you, blah, blah, blah. But I think it depends, right?
What does everyone think about what Angela said? 4 of the 5 have had an agent, said they had an agent. Would you follow up with someone who came through your open house that told you they had an agent?
Yeah.
I would, because they might want to put in an offer,
Nice.
and you can get an offer for the seller agent, which you won't get paid for that, but it'll still reflect good on you that someone who came through the open house put in an offer because you followed up.
What if that
I
person has?
always ask for their agent's name and the company they're with, just to make sure they're, telling me the truth. Not that anybody would lie to you.
What's the old term, John? Buyers are liars.
Yeah, never.
Yeah, if someone tells me they have an agent, I am going to ask them who is it? If it's my listing, I'm going to follow up with that agent because I want to see how they felt about the home. If it's not my listing and I'm holding an open house for someone else, I'm still going to develop rapport with them. I'm going to put them in my database, but I'm going to be cautious about how I follow up with them if they said they're working with an agent, because I don't want to get, when someone tells you they have an agency agreement, you're not really supposed to, pursue them. However, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, it was great meeting you, right? Because people have fired their agents before, right? It was great meeting you. Happy Memorial Day. Please let me know if you have any questions about the home you toured yesterday, or or feel free to have your agent reach out. That makes sense?
Mhm.
I would have done it the very next day. I would have taken, even though it was a holiday weekend, guess what? Most people were off holiday. So I would take the morning and just say, hey, happy Memorial Day, right? I would take it as an opportunity to follow up and to wish them a happy holiday.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
And good morning, everybody. If you have a property and you're going to have one, okay, so assuming that you've already had I have a scenario. You've had a open house and you have a list of names of folks who came through, and then you have a listing maybe 2 months after that. Is it inappropriate to follow up with those folks who came in and say, hey, I have another listing in the area that you were interested in? Please let your agent know, or how do you do that?
Can I say something?
Toes.
Just to not necessarily address your specific situation, but in general, right? Just to keep it simple, it's never inappropriate to reach out to somebody to try and help them.
Okay.
Ever. I don't care if it's been a month or 2 months. You're showing that you're coming from a place of contribution. And if they come to you and say, oh, we found something else. Thanks so much, though. That was really nice of you. That's awesome. Don't ever overthink it.
I do that a lot.
All of these people should be in your database, and you should consistently be following up with them until they tell you no, or till they say, I'm signed with another agent, right? Don't pursue them. So let's role play that a little bit.
These people, may I,
Yeah,
before you go?
go ahead.
Most of them were signed, like Angela, I maybe had one person that was not.
Mhm.
The rest of them were signed. So I guess I'm wondering, I didn't get their agent's information. I just got theirs.
Yeah, I would ask for theirs. Who wants to be a buyer? Kim, you want to be a buyer? You're coming to my
Sure.
open house. Oh wait. Yeah, you're coming to my open house and you have an agent. Okay. Okay, so you're just cruising around. Hey, how are you? Welcome.
Good. How are you today?
Good. Enjoying the sunshine. How did you hear about this open house? Thank you for stopping by.
My realtor told me.
Oh, your realtor. I'm sorry, did you say yes?
Yes.
Your realtor. Okay. Your realtor told you about this open house. Okay, great. Where are they today?
Actually, they were not available today.
Got it. Great. And this is a great way to see a house, especially with everything going so quickly. Sometimes you need to get in any way you can. Are you looking for a home specifically like this in this area, or are you just
We're just looking around.
looking around? Okay, awesome. How long have you been looking?
Oh, probably about a month.
Oh, about a month. Great. Have you put any offers in and unfortunately not one?
Actually, we did lose one.
You did lose one. So you wrote an offer, but you didn't win, unfortunately.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty competitive market. We expect it to level out a little bit, but for now it's really challenging. That must've been a little bit disappointing, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. If you would like, based on what you just told me, there's a sign-in sheet in the kitchen, right? You can put whatever information you're comfortable with, but I do need your name. We're keeping track for COVID protocols to make sure that we have a list of everyone that came through. And if you'd like to not put your phone number and email address, please put your agents. So I have that on file. Is that okay?
Yep, that would be great.
Okay, awesome. And I'm assuming you have a buyer signed representation agreement with them, in
Yes.
writing that they are your agent. Okay, awesome. I wouldn't want to interfere with that. Of course, if someone's working with an agent, I respect that. I actually work for Keller Williams, and we represent the seller in this instance. So if you did have any questions about this home, by all means, I can answer what I know. But really, what your agent should go through the listing agent, as well as if you are interested in writing an offer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna start by telling you about the living room, blah blah blah, whatever. I'm gonna roll into it. But that was just, she right off the bat told me I'm working with, my agent told me, right? You're not gonna get everyone that maybe be forthcoming, right? Some people are
Only
gonna
because I
maybe-
wanted to see how you,
Yeah.
because someone came in and told me that right away, and I
Yeah.
kind of went,
Yeah. Do you like
What do I
do you
say
like
then?
my little tongue in cheek, like, oh, where are they today? Right? Your agent.
That was good.
I kind of want to I kind of want to know, like, what are you doing here then? Now, listen, when I have buyers, they stumble into open houses, right? And I don't tell them they shouldn't. I tell them, in fact, hey, here's a few of my cards. If you walk into an open house, give that listing agent a card. Tell them that you're working with an agent. Like I want them, right? Just like I say, hey, if you stumble across a FSBO, right? Tell me. The FSBO's trying to save money by listing, but they're still offering a commission most of the time. Like I am prepping my buyers. If you see an open house, great, go. I'm not going to hold you back, but if you go and you like it, call me immediately, right? Would anyone else have said or done anything a little different in that regard?
What I always do when they say they've got an agent, kind of my two default lines are great. So when you sign in, if you'd like to put down your agent's name instead, or just give me one of their cards, I'll follow up with them instead if you'd prefer that way. And
Yeah.
if they're really working with an agent, sometimes they'll have a card ready to go, or they'll put their agent's name down. But if they're not actually working with an agent, then they'll usually say something like, "Oh, you can just follow up with us," and they put their name down.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I still ask who their agent is, just to make sure.
Sure. Yeah. Emily, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I'm texting with a client.
No, no worries. Okay, so let's pretend. Why don't you be the agent and I'll be the person coming in?
No, let's do it the other way.
You want to do it the other way?
I'm so bad at this.
No, this is the only way to get you better.
Emily, you are so not so bad at this. That's how I was able to do the other side because I watched you.
Ah, but I'm sweating.
I'm the buyer coming in. Hey, you guys, we don't grow unless we're stretched. You're the agent. I'm the buyer. I'm walking in.
Wait,
I'm
for what?
looking at-
I'm sorry. I was texting with a client. I missed it.
Do this.
What am I pretending?
Put your phone down. You are the agent hosting the open house. I'm a
Okay.
buyer. I walked in the door. And you're trying to figure out, am I working with an agent? Am I not working with an agent? Okay.
All right.
All right. So I'm opening the door.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well on this great day, just showing this wonderful house that you are most likely interested in. Am I correct?
Well, we saw it online and I think so. There had a lot of great features, but I don't know. That's why I wanted to see if it looked as good in person as it did in the photos, which sometimes they don't.
That's true, but not in this case. I take the best photos to represent that this is a great house. Tell me though, you found it online and it hit a lot of points. What points really stuck to you?
Well, 4 bedrooms, the 3 baths is really what we're looking for in the 3-car garage. That was the main things that we're looking at. Obviously, we like this neighborhood too.
That works. Got a few of those. So you saw it online. Did your agent send it to you? Or are you doing a home search by yourself right now?
Yeah, we've got an agent just like emails us properties when they fit this. I don't know. It seems it's like an automated thing. It just kind of comes in their inbox.
Yep, I definitely get that. I hear that quite a bit. Have you met with this agent in person yet, or just somebody that kind of got your information and called you?
No, we've met with them. They haven't showed us any houses. They just,
Okay.
it's my mom's friend.
That friend of a friend situation. Yep, definitely. So it doesn't sound like you've signed a contract to be exclusive with them as your agent, correct?
No, like I said, we just kind of met with them, met with her, and she kind of found out what we're looking for. And then she said that, you know, if there are any houses that pop up to let them know. But we haven't talked with a mortgage lender or anything like that. So we don't even know what we could get pre-approved for.
That's not a problem. Well, that is definitely something that I can help you with. As I show you around this house, I'm going to give you a list that I have pre-printed out of mortgage lenders and everything that we can do to get you signed and into a new home.
Okay, that would be great. Because like I said, I don't even know if we could qualify for this house.
That is not a problem.
But it
We'll
is,
figure that out.
it is what we're looking for. So can we start taking a look around or?
Yep, come on, I'll show you this way.
Okay, awesome. Emily, you did so good. You did awesome.
You're really good at this.
whether you realize it or not, you have a very commanding tone, right? I mean, you are, you know, it's you're not wishy-washy. You are, this is what we're going to do. This is what it is. This is how we do it. Right. And you should take it, use that to your advantage. Maybe tone it down a little bit if someone's a little bit more withdrawn, but the questions you asked were awesome. And, you know, you didn't take the opportunity to be like, oh, so you're not really working with them, right? You're in your mind thinking that, but you're asking questions that earn the ability to go down that path at a later date. You planted the seed. I have referrals, right? Oh, because you're hearing in your mind, this person met with an agent once, their agent hasn't shown them any homes, just sent them an automated email. So in your mind, you're formulating, this is what I do for my clients, right? Including with putting them in touch with the lender so they can figure out what they are qualified for to be able to buy. Because right now, Mr. Buyer, you're kind of just wishy-washy going around whenever you see a home, right? This agent's not working for you. They're waiting for you to reach out to them, right? So you're planting those seeds, or at least what I interpret those seeds, without going too in depth. And then you're like, let's go take a look at the house, right?
One thing I always learn, and anytime I'm in sales or I'm mentoring somebody in a different role, the ABCs of sales, always be closing. So my questions are always to that closing point. I'm going to lead you to where I want you to be, and I'm going to close that deal. That's just where my mind automatically goes.
Absolutely.
So I have something to say. Why did you say you weren't good at this?
I have social anxiety and I get like all sweaty and clammy. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how to talk.
So here's a little, maybe a piece of confidence for you. I mean, I can't control if you feel anxious or sweaty or anything like that, but know that us on the outside don't sense that anxiousness. We don't see that sweatiness, right? So
Yeah.
muscle through it because you do a good job.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I got a hard stop at 12. I'm sorry, but I want to iterate that when you're going through the home, right, after you've started the initial icebreakers, right, continue those conversations as you're going through. What do you guys think of this? Open-ended questions and alternative choice questions, right? Right? Ask them questions. How are they? What do you think about this living room? Is this dining room larger than your kitchen? Or is this dining room larger than what you have, right? Is this a room you guys would see yourself using a lot? You could write down a whole bunch of these questions, right? Is a fireplace an option, a feature that you was on your must-have list? You know, when you're walking in, you know, do you love the idea of a kitchen island with an overhang? You're pointing out things that are just part of the house, but you're asking to get them talking, especially if they're not just outwardly speaking. You're comparing, how does this compare to what you currently have? How do you envision using this room, right? Is this a space you would find useless? I know some people don't eat in a formal dining room, right? As much as you're trying to ask them questions, again, you're not selling that house. You're getting information from them about what they're looking for, right? In fact, and this might be controversial, but if someone comes through and I ask them a ton of questions and they hate the home that they're touring, I'm okay with that. Why? Why am I okay with that?
Because you get to show them houses and make a new client.
Exactly. Hey, I'm listening to you. I hear you. I understand what you're looking for. In fact, I don't have any houses at the top of my mind, but I am part of the largest office in Metro Detroit. I have lots of houses that I'm made aware of before they even hit the market. And I'm constantly making sure that I'm aware of what's going on in this little area that I'm working. I would love the opportunity to work with you, to show you houses based on what you just told me is most important to you. Would it be okay if I sent you listings? Would it be okay if I scheduled an appointment to go see another home that I think would be a better fit for you? I don't know if you're aware of this, if you spoke to other agents, but working with a buyer's agent does not cost you anything. We can talk a little bit more about it as well as explain the process, but I want to make sure that you know that I would love the ability to help you, right? Not call me if you have any questions. Let me know if I can help you, right? I hate those that are just putting the ball in their court and then people wonder why no one ever reaches out to them or calls them.
One other little thing that has nothing to do with the questions that you were just bringing up, but one of the phone calls I took was Brent at Silverline, right? And he's doing that little loan lunch thing tomorrow. And he wants to stay aligned with the things that we're talking about in coaching because he wants to provide value, right? A linear value, or not linear, but anyway, and one of the things that came to my mind that we don't ever talk about that they used to talk about a lot, if you guys have flyers that you need to make for an open house, and I used to do this with Silverline, if you get a hold of Courtney and you give her the address, she will create a flyer for you. She'll just send you the PDF. All you gotta do is print it out. And what they'll do, which is a cool value that you can provide anybody at an open house, is they will put a little block in there that says, if you buy this house at X, which is whatever the list price is, with this much down, your monthly payments would be Y. And then they might put a second one that says, like, the first one might say 20% and the next one will say 10%, and give you a couple examples, which is a really cool way for someone walking through the house to be able to wrap their heads around financially what it would mean to be in that home. So, and it also gets creating a flyer off your back.
Who's
So leverage
Courtney?
them. Use
And-
them.
Contact?
Yeah, do you have her number, Sharon?
Well, hold on. I do not have her phone number. Her email address, I'm sure, is all over the private Facebook group, but attend that lunch class that he's got tomorrow because he's going to talk about that. And they're going to give you guys some scripts and ways to feel like you're adding value to your client by putting them in touch with a lender that can help them.
No, awesome. Was this helpful, guys? Cool.
Yes.
My goal is to
Yes.
get you guys all out of your comfort zone so much that you are role playing kings and queens. Okay. Remember, if you don't practice in here, you're going to be practicing out there. And I would much rather you feel clammy and weird and cough over your words here than with an actual client and lose out in thousands and thousands of dollars. So never be afraid to make yourself vulnerable in here if it'll make you a little bit better to be out there. Okay.
Perfect.
Hey,
Thanks, guys.
Matt and Sharon, may I just make a quick announcement?
Yeah.
Just so everybody is aware, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays from 9:30 to 10, I hold open space on Zoom for us to do role play. So, and I need to practice as much as anybody. That's really the reason why I'm doing it, so I can practice with other people. So if anybody's interested, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, 9:30 to 10 is Zoom where I'm holding space for folks to do role play with me. So if anybody's interested, come and join. Marcia and I, we did one day, she and I, and it went really well. We did the buyer's consultation. So next Monday, we'll do open house since we did it today.
So who commits to get on?
Ooh, echo. I'll start again.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry, Sharon.
I'd like to see somebody commit to get on here with her.
I
Like,
would
don't leave
too.
her in dead
'Cause
space. Somebody right now, raise your hands and commit. Say, I'm going to be on there with her. Hope. All right.
I
Hope's gonna be on
appreciate
there with
y'all.
you. All right.
And it's
And-
Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, 9:30 to 10.
Mondays,
There you
Tuesdays.
go.
Mhm. Sounds good.
All right.
Thank
Love
you.
it, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
You as well,
Talk to you soon.
everybody.
Bye.